If you've been watching my videos for a little while, or if you've worked with me one-on-one, you may know that I have an interest in numerology, and more specifically around life path numbers. And one of the things that I've noticed in working with people regarding their life path numbers is that a lot of times they don't really resonate with the number that their life path is. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about what life path is, what that number is, and what it represents for your life, and some reasons why you may not be resonating with that number, and basically what you can do about that. So what exactly is a life path number in numerology? So a life path number is calculated by using all the digits of your birthday, and you essentially add them up together and you keep adding them together. So let's say you add up all the digits and then you end up with a number like 2024. You would then add 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4. That would be 4, 5, 6, 8, and that would be your life path number. You keep reducing it like that until you get a single digit, unless you end up with a master number. A master number is 11, 22, or 33. So essentially, your life path number is derived from your birth date. And what it represents is your purpose in life. That story arc of your life is how I like to think about it. What is this journey that you're here on? How are you here to grow? What are you here to kind of share with the world? Now, a lot of times when people find their life path number after doing this calculation, they feel like, I don't know if that's really me. I don't really connect with that. I don't really know how that's a part of me. I don't know that I really care about that. And one of the reasons why that is because what I have found is that whatever your life path number is and whatever it represents is something that you are actually innately talented at or with and showed up early in your life. But somewhere along the way, usually in childhood, that talent or that love or that gift was, in a sense, stolen from you or taken from you, and you were disengaged from it. Now, of course, nothing can ever be stolen from you that is actually yours. It can just be a little misplaced in our auric field to where we don't feel that connection. But for lack of better terminology, we're just going to say it was kind of taken from you or stolen from you. And over the course of your life, you may not connect with that anymore. And so when you hear that life path number and that meaning, you may be like, no, that's not really me. It's not really what I care for. It's not really what I'm good at. But as you progress through life, you start realizing as you look back that actually I'm resonating with it more and more, or I'm seeing why certain events are happening in my life to reawaken that innate talent that I once had. So let me give you some examples here. For example, if your life path number, let's say, is 3, you are probably somebody who is very good at communicating, at being creative, expressing themselves, maybe likes to be that performer, and really likes to put themselves out there. Now, as a child, you may have been just like that. As an adult, you may feel like, no, I don't really like speaking, I don't really like performing, I'm not creative at all. And yet, you actually likely are. It's just that you've been disconnected from that. Maybe somewhere in your childhood you were told you should stop talking, or you're not actually good at this. And that little part of yourself, or that big part of yourself, was shut down and put to the side. Or you know what? Being creative and working on arts is a waste of time. You should actually focus on something more serious because that's actually going to pay off for you. So at a very young age, those aspects of yourself were shut out. And so you lost that connection. And I'll talk about why that happens and why that's important in a moment here, but I just want to give a few more examples for anybody else. So maybe your life path number is a number 9, and you are actually here to be a spiritual master. And maybe as a child, you were very connected to spirituality, but somewhere along the way, you had a bad experience and that part of you was shut down. Or you were convinced over and over and over again that it was just in your head and it's not real. And so now as an adult, you're like, nah, I don't really care about that. It's not really my thing, not really into it. But really, over the course of your life, you will find that you keep getting pulled into that. You start meeting people that keep drawing you into that little by little by little, so that you can step back into it, because that is who you were actually meant to be and what you're actually meant to embody. If you have a life path 8, maybe you were born into a very financially wealthy household, or money was just something that you really understood. Maybe you're really good at math or something like that, and somehow along the way that was shut down. Maybe your family lost their fortune and you ended up living in poverty for a little while, or somehow your connection to abundance was taken from you, and now you may identify as, how could I ever be a life path 8? I'm not abundant. I don't know how that works. I don't know the first thing about this. When actually innately you do, and you are meant to be very abundant and to step back into your power. You know, maybe your power was taken away from you at a very young age, because 8 can also be about power. So these are just some examples of how it can be something that was very innate in you, was taken away from you, and then you are here to rediscover that aspect so you can express it. Now, why would you have a life purpose that is then taken away from you? You're good at it and then it's taken away from you, but you're still supposed to do it. And the reason for that is because life path and purpose is really about mastery. And when we are innately good at something, we don't learn how to fully express that thing in a way that serves others, because we're innately good at it. So think about somebody who is just naturally talented at something, and think about how they try to explain it to someone else. They can't, or they don't do it in a way, or they get frustrated when other people don't get it. Like, why are you struggling with this? It's so easy. You just do this, right? Because they haven't had to learn it from the nuts and bolts ground up. And so that's not usually their life path to be the one that teaches that, though they may want to at some points in time. So having it taken away and having to rebuild something that is already innately ours allows us to be able to express that in more ways to more people, in a way that they can understand and that they can, really resonate with, and that will activate them on their own journeys. So the purpose is not just about inner fulfillment. It's also about how we collectively fit in with everybody else, because we are all puzzle pieces together, and how our activation in ourselves can activate another, and vice versa. Another reason why you may not necessarily connect to your life path number is because maybe you're supposed to connect more to your maturity number or your growth number, especially your maturity number. So your maturity number is that number that you take on once you hit like 40s, 50s, but it could be younger than that. So depending on how you're developing and things like that. So you may actually resonate more with your maturity number, especially later in life than earlier in life, because that's who you're here to mature into. Life path number is still going to be important even with your maturity number, because it is your life path number. It's based off of the full birth date that you're born on. But a lot of times we evolve beyond that. So that's how we kind of evolve. So if you have been trying to get into learning about your life path number, and it's really exciting for you, but then you get a little bummed out, or you get kind of confused because you're like, okay, I got my numbers, but it's not really making sense to me, or I don't really want that thing anyways. This is why. It's because it is accurate. It's just that there's more stages of life and more experiences that you're going to go through over your life that are going to activate that in you further. And the reason why you lost it is because you're here to empower others by first learning how to empower yourself. So I hope this was helpful for anybody who was confused about that. And of course, if you would like a psychic or tarot reading from me, or if you want to talk to me about your life path number and want to get some clairvoyant guidance around that, you can always work with me one-on-one. You can access me at my Etsy shop at www.etsy.com/shop/psychicts to get a one-on-one reading from me. I have over 700 readings at this point, just on that one platform. Probably altogether, I have 900 just in the past 2 years readings done total. And then I also have over 200 5-star reviews in my Etsy shop. So if you're interested in that, you can find me there, and I will catch you in the next video.